So where are all the great employees? Hi, I'm Paulus and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to give you expert talent sourcing tips. So one of the questions I get asked all the time is, where can I find good people to hire? Where is all the top talent hiding and how can I get them in my company? Well, in this video, I'm going to share my top strategies to help you find, hire, and retain the A players you need to scale your business fast. All right, let's go. Okay, so back to the question, where are all the great employees? Well, it depends. So if you want to hire the best of the best, the AA players, you're probably going to have to fork out $250,000 a year, and you might not be in a position to be able to afford that just yet. You kind of need to know what phase of business you're in and what you can afford in each phase. And so if you've watched any of my videos, you're probably getting to know a trend here. I talk about a lot of principles based on the phase of business that you're in. And so if you are just starting out, you probably shouldn't be hiring a lot of employees at all. So I recommend doing a lot of outsourcing solutions like virtual assistants, or obviously if you have a core offering that you have to have a specific talent for, you could hire that potentially in-house or go outside of that. So in these earlier phases, use virtual assistants, use executive assistants. There's a lot of different options that can help you just get those tasks done. And you're still doing all the project management and the strategy and doing a lot of the, what I call heavy lifting. When you're in the pre-scale, again, now you're starting to build a team, figure out who can take. Really, it's about replicability. So what are the things that you can take that you were doing and replicate and have somebody else do? And in this phase, you're not going to get the best of the best yet. So you are going to have to manage them more. You're going to have to show them how to do the thing. A lot of times people fall into this trap that they think people can just get their job description and just run with it. Most people cannot work with ambiguity. I think a lot of times we think, because we're this unicorn entrepreneur, right? We know how to do it all because we've done it all and we can see the big picture. So we expect other employees to be able to do that. And so understand that that's not typical and that you will have to manage and be able to show them how to do things and train them in the early phases. Again, you can hire those AA players that can work with ambiguity, but a lot of times they're already working for other companies and you're gonna have to try to pull them away from those companies. So in the growth phase of business, or the first part of growth phase, which is what I call pre-scale, that's where you want to build the team, start to build the systems and the processes and all that. So you'll be more flat in this stage. You might have one level of managers, but again, you don't want to go too high level, because one, you probably can't afford the best of the best yet, and two, you really don't need it quite yet. When you get into the scale phase, you might be able to start to afford more of the A players that you want. Now you need kind of leaders of leaders. You might have a management layer, and now you need to kind of start creating the director level. This is where having those A players are great. Now in the early phases, like, you might have a business partner that's an A player that can help take off your plate, but finding them where you can afford to pay them what they need is usually pretty rare without some other upswing in return that you will give them. So before I go into the details of where you can actually find these employees to be able to work for you, I would love it if you would like and subscribe to this channel, where you can see other videos like this. And if in the comments, if you have other videos you would like to see, other topics, go ahead and put those in the comments. Okay, so now let's talk about the different talent, or where you can find the different talent. And again, I'm going to approach it based on the phase of business that you're in. You can see that I'm very passionate about making sure you do the right things when I think a lot of times we get blanket business advice no matter where we're at in business. So I'm trying to get you to think, okay, what phase am I in and what should I focus on? So in the startup phases, if you're in what I call ideation or validation phase, again, you shouldn't really focus a lot on hiring a team. I've seen a lot of businesses fall in this trap where they hire too soon, and it's kind of the whole "I build it, they will come" mentality. But really, this phase, it's okay to maybe get an executive assistant if you struggle with certain things. They can help really support holding you accountable as the executive, as the entrepreneur, and what you need to do. Where you can find that, there's a lot of executive assistant type. If you just Google it, my company has an executive assistant program that we launched about 6 months ago, and it's really great because when you work with the executive assistant, when you are ready to have a team or you need certain tasks done, they have access to our entire 9 departments of services that you can do. Also virtual assistant. So some people like to use overseas at this point because they're not doing a lot of customer facing things. Maybe they're just getting some tasks off their plate. I don't recommend overseas long-term because they aren't really trained to work with your customers. At the end of the day, we want you to create a scalable, sustainable, and replicable company. And so I'm going to show you through these stages how to continue to beef up the team that's required. As far as virtual assistants, like I said, you can go overseas, or there's a lot of local in-state ones. We have more of a team sourcing model, but can do really specialized skills in the right department instead of kind of a jack of all trade framework. If you want kind of the jack of all trade, there's a lot of different virtual assistants out there. I think Belay, Zirtual, you can find specialized skills on Upwork, things like that to really help your business for what it needs in those early stages. Okay, so now if you're in the growth phase of business, it's important to now start building up a team. And really, if you want to build an in-house team or outsource it all, is really going to depend on your kind of tolerance of what it takes to really build a team. I think a lot of people downplay that it's easy, just build a team. And it took me a decade to figure out how to build a team. So understand that if you want to dive in and say, hey, I do want an in-house team, really where you can find it in this stage, honestly, just the ones that you typically know of, LinkedIn, Indeed, running some ads to like maybe a hiring funnel would work. You're attracting people that are willing to, that are looking for a better opportunity, that maybe aren't happy with their current employer, or maybe are unemployed in between jobs looking. To really find the A players, though, is really when you're getting into that scale and that next phase of business, that creative expansion phase. And that is when you really have to do more headhunting, where you're going to go and try to pull people from other people's places where they're working currently. Because the really, really good talent is not unemployed. And so as you get to those higher levels where you want the best of the best, you're going to have to headhunt. And you can use headhunting companies to do that, to help recruit. If you need help hiring and recruiting, our company can help with that as well. We do a lot of different, our team sourcing model is really so where you don't have to find all the talent to work for your in-house team. So if you want to create a really simple business model, which is really kind of the trend, you literally could outsource pretty much your entire operations within our company, because we have pretty strategic flows that we can develop for you, where we can help you create the customer journey to where it's a seamless process where you know what we're doing, what you're in charge of, and what needs to happen. So that is kind of some tips and tricks on how to really recruit, but also know what you can afford and what you need to be okay with. So again, it's really just knowing what phase of business you're in and knowing what you need to hire when. And this is my last little bonus tip on how to really hire the best of the best. The way you do that is by getting referrals. And the way you get referrals is creating an environment and culture where people want to work and your current employee base is happy. Because then, like our company gets a lot of referrals. I would say probably half the people that we hire now are actually referrals. And that is really just by having a solid foundation, knowing who we are, knowing what we stand for, knowing where we want to go, and really just empowering our employees too. So many employees come from micromanaged, toxic work environments. So I promise you, if you create a good culture, you will stand out and you will attract really good people, because most businesses aren't doing that. I would say 95% of the employees we get come from toxic, micromanaged work environments. So if you want to hire great talent, create a great culture. So if you want help on what to do when in your business, like I said, I talked about the different phases and what to hire when. I actually have a free assessment. You can go to theimpactequation.com, and on this free assessment, it'll actually diagnose which phase of business you're in and what is required in that phase, so you can have a little bit more support and feel like you're not alone and that you have a direction in the journey of your business. So again, you can go to theimpactequation.com.